We'll be talking about, obviously, the Yealink video conferencing product, how it's positioned, and also its unique selling points. We'll have a look over the product portfolio, its distinctive features, the pricing and service policy from Yealink, and also Yealink's VCS partner program as well. And then, as I've said, at the end, we'll look at some questions that you guys have. Okay, before we do get started, just a bit of a catch up on where Yealink are at these days. Yealink are now the #2 SIP phone provider in the world. So they've actually achieved a greater than, or a 2-digit increase rate in sales revenue for the past 5 years, which is fantastic for Yealink. In regards to their team members, so most of, or majority of the core team members of Yealink now have more than 20 years of experience in the industry, and Yealink have over 200 people in their R&D departments. They also have over 100 technology partners around the world, as well as 70+ distributors, and now have customers in more than 140 countries. So that's fantastic from Yealink. They've come a long way since the mid-2000s. Okay, moving forward. So we'll look now at how Yealink position their VCS product and also their unique selling points. Okay, so Yealink position themselves in the SME and SMB markets. So they sit alongside the life-size products, and their main target for their products is for companies that have up to 8 sites. So anything over 8 sites is not a good fit for the Yealink product. Anything under 8 sites is a perfect fit for the Yealink product. So Yealink aren't trying to compete with the higher end products like Polycom, Cisco, Red Vision. They're leaving that to those guys for the enterprise market, and Yealink are purely focusing on the SME and SMB markets. Okay, in terms of the quality of the product and the price point of the product, Yealink is up there with the other vendors in terms of the quality, but down at the lower end of the scale for their price points. So what Yealink are trying to do is make this product as easy as possible for you guys, for the resellers and for the end users. So they've made the product easy to use, easy to install, and they've made it at a price point that's competitive for the market. So being easy to install, easy to configure, it takes away some of the resources required by their internal IT people in terms of the configuration and the way that it sits on the network and its ease of use through firewalls, and also being able to utilize standard broadband connection. It's limiting the resources required by your physical network. And then we also, once again, look at the cost-saving features of the Yealink product as well. Okay, so now we'll look at Yealink's unique selling points. So once again, we'll look at the quality of the product. The quality, the audio, the video quality of Yealink's product is up there with the best. The ease of use, ease of installation, and the ease of recording capabilities make it a less than 5-minute installation job from box to making a call. Again, we look at the cost saving. The Yealink product is an all-in-one solution. It's a one-price product. You buy the product, There's no additional costs involved with the product, and of course the price is effective and competitive. What Yealink are also trying to do is look after the channel. We want you guys to make money from this product. So what we ensure that the margin for the channel is high, and we also look after that margin by implementing Yealink's MAP and MRP program. Alright, now we'll look at the product itself. Let's have a look at the Yealink product portfolio. Okay, let's start with the VC400, where its primary use is for the head office, or the main site where this system will be installed, so the site which has the best or the most amount of bandwidth. Okay, so the VC400 has a built-in 4-port MCU and an endpoint all-in-one. So it allows you to connect up to 3 1080p high-definition connections to the endpoint, and then obviously itself, which makes it 4. So the VC400 can also be upgraded by a license to support up to 8 sites, but you will then lose some resolution, bringing it back down to 720p for those 8 sites. We then have the VC120. So the VC120 is the unit for your branch office. This unit is purely an endpoint. It does not have a built-in MCU. So the VC120 will support a single video call up to 1080p high definition and 1 single audio call as well. So the only difference between the 2 units is that the VC400 has a built-in 4-port MCU. The actual VC400 and the VC120 have exactly the same accessories. So you get the same looking HD codec, you get the phone and the camera, and also a remote control on both models. Okay, so just going over what I just said then, so looking at the components of the product. So like I said, you get the HD codec, you get the HD camera, which supports up to 18 times optical zoom, as well as the PT function as well. You get your VCS phone, which you can actually initiate calls from, hang up calls, also do your data sharing and enable data sharing from the actual phone itself, and then you also have the remote control. Okay, looking at the back of the HD codec, starting from left to right, so we have the VGA port, which is used to connect your PC for data sharing capabilities. We have the DVI port, which is used to connect to the camera. We have 2 HDMI ports for your displays, and we have a line in and line out for if you want to use external audio. So if you don't want to use the built-in, or you don't want to use a VCS phone that comes with the product, you can actually connect third-party mic and speaker products to the unit as well. We then have a USB port, which is used for recording and also upgrading firmware and stuff like that. We have the audio in port, which is a RJ45 connector to connect the VCS phone. We have the gigabit Ethernet connection, which plugs into your network. We have the power socket and also a reset button as well. Okay, now we'll just have a quick look at what Yealink are looking to do with their VCS range in the future. So at the moment, recently, Yealink launched their CP860, which was their audio conferencing phone. That was released late last year. And then late last year or early this year, the video conferencing product was also released. So they released, as we've gone over, the VC400 and the VC120. Moving forward in the year and towards the end of the year, Yealink will be looking at releasing a lower end model of the endpoint, so a basic branch office endpoint, the VC110, which would be lower cost than the VC120. And I think from memory, we'll check with the Yealink guys afterwards, but I think the VC110 will only be 720p and not 1080p. Yealink are also releasing their T49, which is their new gigabit phone. As you can see on the presentation, it's not going to look like that. That's the old VP530 model that's on the image. And then moving forward, Yealink will also be releasing a soft client to enhance their overall video conferencing solution. So they'll release clients for Windows-based PC connectivity, iOS, and Android solutions as well. And then not long after that, Yealink were also looking into releasing a cloud-based application service as well. So they're really looking to enhance themselves and make their video conferencing product number 2 in the world, like they have with their IP phones. So Yealink do have strong goals for their new product. So just going over again, Yealink's full high definition VCS solution and how they see it in the market in the future. So again, head office, you've got your VCS400, which can connect via SIP connectivity to a PBX for bringing in audio connectivity. And then we have the VC120 and VC110 endpoints. Later on, their soft clients for their iOS devices, Android, PCs. And one good thing with Yealink as well is it is also interoperable with third-party products as well. So you can bring in other vendors' products to connect into the video conference as well. Because it supports SIP, H.323, it allows connectivity of other vendors' products that support those protocols as well. Okay, and also, as I mentioned, we can also bring in audio. So we can, the VCS400 accepts one audio stream, so we can bring in a audio connection into the conference as well. Okay, looking at Yealink's distinctive features. Okay, so obviously the Yealink VCS product is full high definition, has fantastic audio and visual quality, and that all comes together because of the powerful built-in MCU that is delivered in the VCS400. The product uses the H.264 high-profile codec, allowing for bandwidth saving, and they also have nice naturversal features built into the product that allows you to connect on just about any network. The product is easy to use, easy to install, and has a very friendly user interface. Again, because the product supports open standard protocols such as H.323 and also SIP, it's very compatible with other products out there on the market. And of course, they also support encryption, so we can ensure that your video conferences are all encrypted. Okay, just looking at the full high definition capability of the product. So like I said at the beginning, excuse me, the camera is a full high definition 18 times optical zoom PTZ camera. The microphone, or the actual phone itself, has 3 built-in microphones. So we have 360-degree connectivity and a microphone pickup of up to 3 meters or 10 feet. Okay, just looking at the MCU, or the built-in MCU. So as I explained earlier, the VCS400 can have up to 3 high-definition 1080p connections connecting to it at one time, as well as a single one-way audio call. So you could have a direct SIP call from an IP phone into the unit, or what you could actually do is have the VCS400 dial into an audio bridge, and then you can bring in multiple audio participants into the video conference all in one go. So we can have the 3 endpoints, VCS120 endpoints connected, as well as realistically an endless amount of audio connections coming into the video conference if you are using an audio bridge on the other side. So looking at the dual screen support there, so we support 1080p on both screens. So we can have people on one screen, content on the other. You can have people on both screens, so you can mix and match the layout of the dual screens. So just going over that again, VCS400, built-in 4-port MCU, up to 4-way 1080p video conferencing, so 3 external participants plus itself, plus a full high-definition 1080p content sharing connection, as well as a one-way audio call. Okay, another important function and a great feature of the Yealink product is their built-in MCU transcoding. So unlike other vendors, most of the other vendors only have one encoder in their product. So what that means is if you have, let's say you have 3 endpoints coming into the VC or into a video conference. 2 of them being room solutions or room systems that support 1080p. You then bring in a soft client on a mobile phone. Let's say it's only running at SIF resolution. With products that only have one encoder, once you bring in that low bandwidth SIF resolution connection, that basically drops the whole resolution for the entire video conference. So every participant in that video conference will now be running at SIF resolution because of that one low bandwidth connection. What Yealink have done, they've implemented 2 encoders into the product. A single high definition encoder and a standard definition encoder. What that allows us to do is actually bring in the 2 connections via high definition, and then once a mobile client running on low bandwidth or low resolution comes into the video conference, it's not going to affect the rest of the conference. So the 2 high definition connections will still run at high definition, and a low bandwidth connection, the mobile device, they will be the only ones that see the low resolution connection to the conference. As well as being able to bring in low resolution or low bandwidth connectivity into the conference, it also allows us to bring in 2 different protocols. So we can have a SIP connection to the conference as well as a H.323 connection into the conference. So the Yealink product actually allows transcoding between SIP and H.323 as well. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, the Yealink product supports H.264, HP, so the high profile advanced codec. What this does is allows us to get 1080p 30 frames using only 1 meg of bandwidth. Excuse me. That's up to a 50% bandwidth saving. Excuse me, I've had a bit of a sore throat for the last couple of days, so my throat's playing up a little bit. Okay, so looking at the graph there, we can see that the older original H.264 codec and H.263 are needing almost 2 meg of bandwidth to get that 1080p resolution. But now with a newer H.264 high-profile codec, we now half that, and we only require 1 meg bandwidth. Okay, as well as the lower bandwidth, we also have the adaptive bandwidth capability. So Yealink support what they call fast bandwidth detection technology. What this does is for endpoints that are on fluctuating bandwidth connections. So for instance, with these products, obviously we can utilize these on existing bandwidth or broadband connections. We don't need to have a separate connection for this. Now, because of that, we do have the possibility of somebody downloading something which may affect or change the bandwidth. What Yealink can actually do is they can adjust the bit rate, the resolution, or the frame rate of the video to ensure we still have connectivity and we still have a very user-friendly VC environment. Okay, there's a bit of a sample of where the unit's being used. So this was used at the Youth Olympic Games, and they actually deployed these devices in police cars, utilizing a 3G connection. That shows you that these units can run on low bandwidth connections. Okay, as well as the low bandwidth support, they also have error correction support as well. So the Yealink products will support and still run a very user-friendly video conference at up to 8% packet loss. So even if your network is dropping packets, as long as it doesn't go over 8%, you will still have a seamless video conference experience. Some of the other vendors out there, they only really support, or anything over 1% packet loss can affect the video conferencing experience. Okay, so in those low bandwidth environments, if we do lose bandwidth for some reason, the video conference or the Yealink VCS product will always give priority to audio and always give priority to the content sharing. So those two features will always have high availability over the actual video content. Okay, now looking at the network traversal features of the Yealink product. So in regards to some of the other vendors, if you put a video conferencing endpoint behind a firewall, okay, you might get SIP H.323 connectivity to the head office or to the MCU out on the internet, but you'll never get video or audio or your presentation or your far-end camera control. They'll be blocked by the firewall. What Yealink's product allows is it supports what they call intelligent firewall traversal. So this allows you to install, for instance, a VCS120 at a customer's site and be able to make a call out to the head office or to a testing site without having to configure any port forwarding in the customer's firewall. So this makes it very easy for you guys to go out and demo the product to your customers. There's no need to worry about having to configure firewall settings, having to have an IT guy there to help you configure these port mappings. You can just plug it in and it'll connect directly to the head office. One thing to mention is the intelligent firewall traversal won't actually allow a call back into the office. It's only for outbound calls. Okay, so just before I get onto this slide here, so just looking at the methods of deployment with the VCS product. So there's about 4 different methods that we can use. So we can have the VCS product on a public IP address, which is obviously the easiest way to do it. We can configure it behind the firewall and have port mapping configured. We can have it behind the firewall and we can use Yealink's intelligent firewall traversal to get through the firewall. Or another method, like Yealink's IP phones, the Yealink VCS products support OpenVPN. So if you have an OpenVPN server running at your head office, you can actually create a secure VPN connection from your branch office to your head office, and the video conferencing will all pass through that encrypted tunnel. That once again means no firewall configuration at the branch office. Okay, just looking at the actual interface of the VC products. So it's all menu driven, very nice looking interface, easy to move your way through the interface. You've got menus that go left to right, and also menus that go down to up. So you should select your main menu from the top menu, and then you have your different preferences underneath that. So very easy to use, and obviously you can make a call from that interface as well. Okay, earlier on I kind of explained a little bit about, being able to use a phone to make your call, as well as obviously the remote. So you can, on the actual remote or on the phone, you can dial the device that you're trying to call and hit the call button. You can also scroll through phone books and just click on a phone book or a phone book entry, dial entry, and click on that and make a call as well. Now, as well as being able to mute the conference from the remote and from the phone, you can also enable your data share from both these devices as well. Now, in regards to the actual camera control, that can only be done by the remote control. Okay, another big benefit of the Yealink VCS product is the ability to use the actual VCS phone purely as an audio conferencing device as well. A lot of different vendors out there on the market, you need to have a separate phone for your video conferencing solution. Nobody wants to have 2 phones on their conference table. It looks messy. Means there's more cables right out to the table as well. With the Yealink VCS products, the single phone can be used for both video conferencing and audio conferencing. So the actual phone itself can just register as an extension on your PBX. Okay, built-in recording as well. All you need to do to record your video conference is plug in a USB stick into the actual codec, click on the record button, and it'll record your entire conference. Unlike other vendors where they have standalone recording conferencing systems that need to bolt on to the actual VC product. And those external recording systems can be very expensive. So having the ability to be able to record directly to a USB stick from the codec itself is a huge advantage. Okay, customized layout. So as I've said in the past, the VCS product supports dual screen, so we can have video on both screens, we can have video on one screen, self-view on the other screen, we have video on one screen, we can have the content sharing on the second screen. It's very flexible. So there's a few different modes you can choose for your layout. You can have what we call like active speaker in the large screen, and then your other participants in the conference down beside it. You then have obviously full screen, where you can select what participant you want to be in full screen mode. And then we have what I call the Brady Bunch style, where you can have all participants the same size on the screen at one time. So if you choose, for instance, you choose the full screen layout, you'll be then prompted to choose what participant you want on the full screen. Click on the button and they'll pop up on the full screen, and you'll see obviously a large single picture of that chosen participant. Okay, so with some vendors' products, the actual dual screen mode is very limited. So on the primary display, you can have your video participants. And on the second screen, in some vendors' cases, you can only either have the content sharing or your own self-view. You can't actually have participants from the conference spread across both screens. So with Yealink, what you can actually do is your main display, you can have split up into 3, 4 of your participants. And then you can choose what you want on the second screen. So you can have your self-view if you want your self-view on the second screen. You can have your content sharing if you want. If you're not using either of those, what you can do is you can pick one of the participants out of the conference that you want, and you can move them to the second display. So this is the same, just explaining exactly what I've just said. So what you can do, so by being able to have 2 of your remote participants on either of the screens, it's kind of like a mini telepresence system. So you're not seeing yourself, you're not seeing your data, your content sharing. All you're seeing is the people that you're talking to. Okay, interoperability. Because the Yealink product does support H.323, and we're only looking at H.323 here at the moment, it's going to support all the other vendors' products that support H.323. So your Polycom products, including their HCX series, their RMX series, and also their desktop mobile clients as well, can all be brought into the Yealink video conference. Same again with Lifesize, Cisco, and also Red Vision. In terms of cloud solutions, so once again, as long as it supports H.323 or SIP, we can bring this into a VCS or Yealink VCS video conference. Whether it be on a soft phone, whether it be an actual video phone, whether it be a software client, it doesn't matter. As long as those devices support SIP or H.323, they can come into a Yealink video conference. Okay, just looking a little bit at the security side of things. So obviously the web interface itself supports HTTPS. In regards to the H.323 encryption, it supports H.235 and AES encryption. In regards to SIP, it supports TLS and also secure RTP as well. And then we also have some other networking features there as well, so VLANs, QoS, 82.1x as well. And then, like I've said before, also the OpenVPN client that's built into the products. Okay, moving on to the Yealink's pricing and service policies. Okay, So the product is an all-in-one product. You don't pay extra for recording, you don't pay extra for dual screen, you don't pay extra for content sharing. It's all included in the one price. The only license that you do need to get is obviously if you want to expand the unit out to an 8-site MCU. But when you do use 8 sites, remember that does fall back to 720p. Okay, so looking at the pricing again, Yealink, like I said, have tried to make their product as competitive in the market as possible. So looking at some of the other vendors, the pricing of the Yealink product is about 30% lower than the cost of life size, and about 50% of the cost of the Polycom products. In regards to the channel itself, Yealink have more discount to the resellers for both the actual products it sells and also the service of the product. So Yealink, which I do mention a bit later on, Yealink do have a yearly maintenance for their products. So the discount that you receive for that maintenance is very high as well. And once again, Yealink's MAP and MRP program is there to actually help the channel and ensure that the channel is making money and we're not selling the Yealink product too cheap. Sorry guys, once again, just like to apologise for my throat's a little bit sore, but I'm pushing through. Okay, so now we talk a little bit about their assurance maintenance service. So this is included in the first year, and then every year after that, it's about 10% of the product, of the price of the product. So there is up to about 50% discount for the channel. So so from the SRP price down to your buy price is about 50% margin for the maintenance service. So plenty of money to be made there, and obviously ongoing revenue there as well. Okay, batch replacement service. This is all done by Alloy. So Alloy will be holding RMA stock in our warehouse. So if we do have any issues with the product, we do have a quick turnaround for replacement product. Technical support, same as normal. The end user will talk to you first. You'll try and help and resolve any problems that they have. If it goes above your scope, then obviously you can talk to us at Alloy here. We'll help you with the, any support issues that you do have. And then obviously if it does go over our head, or we find that it's actually a firmware fault with the product, we will then go back to Yealink and get that resolved as well. Okay, so what Yealink do have is they do have a certified partner program. Now running for the, well, until the end of the year actually, what Yealink and Alloy are doing is allowing you guys to loan a VCS400 for up to a week for you to test and play with the product. What you can do is, it's only one unit that you'll get, but what you can do obviously is call into us to do testing, or you can use third-party mobile products, or you might have existing video conferencing products that you can use to test the product with. Okay, so becoming a certified reseller. The benefits, obviously, of becoming a certified reseller is you get a better discount on the product, and it also allows you to have direct support to Yealink's technical support team as well. Now, to become a certified reseller, there is a demo kit that needs to be purchased, but the demo kit is around about 75% off list. So it is a very cheap entry into the market, especially for the cost savings that you do get against the product once you are certified. So as well as buying the demo kit, there will be some training that will need to be done as well. And Alloy will be holding and running that training, so do talk to your Alloy account manager if you are interested in doing that training. Okay, another thing that Yealink will be introducing, it hasn't been introduced yet, is project registration as well. So if you do have a project that you're working on, if you do register that project with Alloy and with Yealink, both Alloy and Yealink will help you to do whatever needs to be done to get that project across the line. And if you do register your projects, you will again get another 5% discount off the list price of the product. So a bit more incentive to get more discount for either you and your end user, or maybe just for yourself, depending on what you guys want to do. So again, benefits of registering the product or registering a deal or an opportunity is to gain that extra 5% discount. Help from Yealink, either technical side of things or sales side of things, and also help from Alloy as well. And then any project that you do register will be locked into you, so we will make sure that we do whatever we can to make sure you win that project. If that comes down to locking in a price for you to make sure you're cheaper than any other resellers, then that's what we'll need to do to make sure you guys win that project if you do come up against other competition or other Yealink VCS reseller competition. Okay guys, that just about wraps it up. Hopefully I didn't move too fast through that presentation. Right, there was quite a lot of questions throughout the presentation. Now I'm not sure if Yealink got to all of them or not. What I will do is just open up the mics now for any audio questions that you do have, and we'll run through them. And then if after that, we'll also run through some of the text-based questions to make sure that they were all answered as well. All right, guys, so if anyone has any question, please raise your hand in the panel, and we'll unmute you and you can fire your question away. Okay, Damien, fire away, buddy. You there, Damien?
Sorry, mate, my mic was muted manually. Gotcha?
That's okay. Yep, certainly have.
Mate, just with recording to USB, what file type is it, and how many, megabytes per minute would it record in, or, what's the size per second that it records into USB?
All right, that's a very good question, and not a question that I can answer. Let's hope that Yealink is able to help us out there.
Yep.
All right, I've unmuted Daniel. Hopefully, Daniel, are you there? Can you actually answer that question? You there, Daniel? Okay, let me just open up the mic for all the Yealink staff. So Edward or Summer, can any of you guys answer that question?
Yeah, Daniel, the engineer, our engineer will answer the question. So here's Daniel.
Okay. You there, Daniel? Can you answer that question? If not, I'll get back to Damien if you can't answer the question right now.
Hello, Scott.
Yes.
Yeah, this is Daniel.
Hi, Daniel. Okay, so Damien just asked a question in regards to the recording. So when recording onto the USB flash drive, what format does it record in? And also, how much space does it use, or how much, per meg? What kind of time frame do you get in your recording, and what size are the files?
Let me confirm. You want to know how many? What is the format that we on the recording? And that is
Correct.
The first question. And the second question is, how many Scott will be taking per minute of the conversation, right?
Yeah, correct. So just recording. So recording the actual video conference. What format does it record in?
Okay, let me check. Maybe for a second.
Yeah. So is it MP4? Is it WMV? Is it like a flash format, FLV format?
MKV 是吧 Hello, Scott.
Yes.
About the format, it will be recorded by the MKV. Hello?
Yes.
The format is MKV. And
Okay, MKV format.
Yeah. And
Yep.
for 1 hour conversation, it will be stored by 1 GB.
So 1 gig. So 1 hour of recording will be about 1 gig file size, and it's recorded in MKV format.
Cool.
Perfect. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Right, Damien, any other questions, bud?
Mate, if someone's using Skype, can you speak with other Skype users easily?
Yeah, not easily. You'd need to have like a Skype to SIP device or something similar, or Skype to H323 device. So it doesn't natively support Skype. We'd need to come in with via a third-party device.
I don't think anyone does that anyway, so that's fine.
Yeah, there's definitely Skype to SIP devices out there. There's also Skype to H323 devices out there.
Yeah.
There's not many people that do support native connectivity to Skype.
Yeah, and with the mobile clients, how far off would they be?
Towards the end of the year, Edward or Daniel, can you answer that? So in terms of your mobile software client or your PC software clients, when's the ETA for the release of that? It's early next year or something, isn't it?
Again?
Yes, Scott, we have a very clarified roadmap for the PC or the mobile phone software. It will be at the end of this year. Then we will release our Microsoft, based on Microsoft software endpoint for the PC and the iOS or Android-based endpoint for the mobile phone.
Okay, so the Microsoft software, the Android and iOS clients, all towards the end of the year.
Okay,
Yeah.
and are they just priced per license, just a once-off price per license for each device?
They're just free. They're included. So all you're doing, so they're just part of the package. So the MCU is what you're paying for. So that MCU supports up to 3 additional connections. So those mobile devices, whether it be a PC and an iOS or Android, will just connect into that MCU. So the pricing is all paid for when you buy the actual VC400.
So will they also be available as standalone products though? So say you didn't have the video conferencing solution, but you've got a customer that wants to use soft phones, for example. Is it,
Yep.
And is that free or?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I know that some other vendors, they kind of, or one other vendor that I know, what they actually do for their soft client is they make it actually a SIP registration. And they make you register to their codec to get away from that.
Well, look, I know Counterpath or Bria, they charge what, $50 for their PC application, and then $8 or something for their mobile app, which is all well and good. It's still much cheaper than getting a handset on your desk, which we don't really like that personally because we don't make money, and obviously you guys don't like it. No one likes it basically in the industry. But nonetheless, it's going to be something that does happen that people ask us to do for them. So, is there not an option to sell that at all? Like, is there a premium version of it that we could sell as a standalone maybe in future, or is that just not even on the product roadmap?
Let's check. Edward or Daniel, can you answer that? So in regards to the actual software client that you guys are having, can that be used with other, is that just a pure SIP or H.323 endpoint that can be used with anything, or is that locked down to the Yealink product in some way? And obviously, is it free, and is there a charged version of it, paid for version? I'm not sure if I know the answer to that one.
Yep.
Okay. Start with Edward.
Yep.
Now we have already connected so many software video conferencing companies to do the IoT test. And right now we already support the such as the video and the solutions and some of these companies. And as time flies, more and more software video conferencing systems we will do interoperate will be comfortable with them, and all this will be come to with the firmware update, and we provide the software or firmware update for free, and this is for the whole lifetime of our VCS. We want to charge any fee for them.
Okay, so you won't be charging for it. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, look, Damien, it sounds like it's going to be free, but what I'll do is I'll get some more concrete information on that. Look, because it is fairly early, maybe Yealink don't even have their exact plans ironed out yet. So we'll wait and see what they have to say, and I'll find out what information I can and get that to you ASAP.
All right, no worries.
All right, thank you very much for that.
Yeah, I'm out of questions.
All right, no problem. I'll go back to the chat board. Is there anybody else that has any audio questions? All right, what I'll do, I'll just go through some of these questions that are on the chat board. I'm not sure how many of these questions have been answered. I can't tell from my board whether anybody's answered them or not. Okay, so Dean Bolger, how are you, buddy? The release of the soft client, like we just said, towards the end of the year, early next year. Is the audio connection additional to 4-way, or is it 3-way plus audio? So it's 4 plus audio. Andrew Johnson, can the audio input dial into a PBX conference room and be in sync with the video, so that those who do not have a video endpoint can still participate in the conference? Okay, so you can. So being able to have that audio connectivity, you can bring in audio participants via a conference bridge or a PBX. There's no problem at that. Because they won't see video, there's not going to be any syncing issues because you're not seeing their faces move or anything anyway. And the people that have got the video capability can't see them either, so you're not going to have sync issues. So I can't see why there'd be any issues with that. Cecile asked if she can see the GUI. We can do that later, Cecile. Just shoot me through an email, and I can run you through, or what I can actually do is give you access to the GUI, so you can see that. I've got, I can bring up the web interface, but the web interface isn't the web interface is very much similar to the Yealink IP phones, so not as nice as the actual user interface on the actual VC system itself. Another one, can the remote client operate? Yes. Can they operate the PTZ camera on the other end? Yes. Far end camera control is definitely supported. Cecile, does the microphone come wireless? No, there's no wireless model as of yet. I'm not sure if they have plans to release a wireless model at this point. There was another question there about fire and camera control. Yes, definitely supported. Okay, so another question here is in regards to implementation. So if somebody has a private cloud connectivity between their offices, can they just talk via that cloud rather than going and traversing via firewalls? Of course they can. These are just networking endpoints. If you have the correct route set up to get from one network to another, then of course no firewall will need to be traversed for these products to talk to each other. Cecile, can we get the presentation? Yes, so like I said at the start, the presentation and recording of the presentation will be on our website later today. And Cecile, yes, please contact me, send me an email and I'll send you through pricing for it as well. So in regards to the pricing, guys, please just contact your LY account managers and they'll speak and go over the pricing details with you guys. Ryan, with a question about the CP860, is it part of the VC kit? So the actual VCS phone that comes with the video conference system is very, very similar to the CP860 and even looks the same as the CP860, but is actually different. But like I said, the actual VCS phone that comes with the VCS system does support a SIP registration, so you can register it to your PBX and use it as an audio conferencing phone as well. Okay, another one in regards to please confirm if the 8 points, if you're using a mobile app, does it utilize one of those 8 points? Yes, it does. So whether you're using the 4 ports at 1080p or 8 ports at 720p, if you bring in a mobile device, it will consume one of those ports. Can the VC120 be used in the point-to-point configuration? Yes, it can. So you don't need to use the VC400. If you just have a point-to-point solution that you want to use, then of course you can use 2 VC120s. All right, Damien just asked, can Yealink release a PC client emulator so they can demo on customer site? What we can do, Damien, obviously, is we can loan you the product to do some testing, and whether it be on a customer site or your site, it's entirely up to you. But another way is, obviously, if you want to test it and if you like the product, then buy a demo kit. That's the easiest way, and then you've got it there so you can actually go out on site and do some testing on their network, because that's the best way of doing it. Being able to utilize their network, their bandwidth, and know exactly what they're going to get and what the condition of the video conference from their own network is the best way to do it. Okay, BlueJeans Network is a cloud service providing connectivity between Skype, Google Hangouts, and SIP VC systems. Okay, thanks, Andrew. So that kind of answers your question, Damien, in regards to Skype. So you could use BlueJeans to connect between Skype or Google Hangouts back into a SIP-based video conferencing system as well. Alright guys, that's all the questions on the chat board. There's no other questions via the audio panel. We'll wrap things up. Please, if you're too shy to actually ask an audio question, please just do it via the chat panel and I'll read it out and answer the question. Let's give it another minute or so, see if anybody else has any other questions. Alright guys, that looks like just about it. No other questions from anybody. Once again, thank you very much for your attendance today. We do appreciate it. And like I said, the recording and the presentation slides will be on our website within a few hours. Thank you very much, guys.